Welcome to the Lazy Hustlers podcast, where we talk with smart and interesting folks about entrepreneurship, startups, productivity, and anything under the sun that helps you provide value to your life. Welcome to the Lazy Hustlers podcast. We have with us Rewaj Chettri here today. Rewaj Chettri is a serial entrepreneur. He has started 35 startups, including Any Origins, Any Taxi, Sikkim Ventures, Sikkim Farms, a music app called Sisam, hyperlocal laundry service called Washer, and many more under his portfolio. He was also featured in the Forbes magazine Asia Under 30 in 2018. He was quoted as the entrepreneur by Young Leaders Connect. He was also involved during the pandemic, where he helped the northeastern states, especially with COVID relief kits. Hi, Rivaj, how are you doing there?
Hi. I'm doing great. Thank you for inviting me. I think it's a wonderful time uh, to talk to both of you today.
Thank you. It's an honor to have you on the podcast as well.
100%.
So, Rivaj, how you got into entrepreneurship as a young guy? What influenced you, and how did you overcome setbacks? Tell us everything about the early stage.
Um, yeah, so I started when I was in college. I think this story, like I have been telling everywhere, but just
Exactly.
to
There's
bring
a
back
lot.
again, I started when I was in college. I was 19 when I started my first enterprise. It was pretty small. Like you never start something big right from day one. So I started with a small printer in my hostel, and then gradually scaled one after another and one after another, and that is how the journey it has been. But yeah, I was in second year. I was pursuing Bachelor of Science in Forestry, and I think my passion was always with entrepreneurship. So that is how it started. But I think it also comes a lot with the family. Everyone in my family is like somewhere or the other, like they always were enterprising. My dad was a poultry farmer, and then he started a poultry business across South Sikkim, and like he's also considered as a pioneer in poultry farming. My
Okay.
mom used to run a small restaurant in Gantok. My brother, then I saw my brother like leading successfully in the travel industry in Sikkim. So I think a lot is influenced by things around me, and that is how it started.
Yeah, from a young age only, you were surrounded by businessmen. So, like, naturally, you went into business, right?
Yeah, so even though I started my second year, I completed my college because I think that was I think during college that was a time when I felt like it's a sense of freedom to me to basically I didn't have any responsibilities, so I could take risk. So I
Yeah.
think it's very natural, but also at the same time, I was always pursuing this as my lifelong journey.
Mm. So, uh, tell us, what does entrepreneurship mean to you? Because, like, the reason why I asked was because, especially in Sikkim, not a lot of people know what entrepreneurship is, right? And even if they know, like, it's very, the idea of entrepreneurship is kind of vague. Uh, and I guess you were there during the times of, like, times when people were actually calling themselves entrepreneur when they, like, were just doing MLMs marketing, right? At that time.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I wanted to know from you what entrepreneurship means to you. Does it, like, is it entrepreneurship similar to business? Where do you draw the line between entrepreneurship and business?
So I think when I came back from my college in 2016, every entrepreneur also called them businessmen because the term entrepreneur wasn't there like it wasn't in a like people didn't use in their regular conversation, or people who are also doing entrepreneurship were calling them like business person. So
Mm.
I think the line where I draw is basically entrepreneur are people who does business but at the same time adds a lot of impact in the society. I think the impact factor is not there with people who are doing business.
Mm.
So I think that is where that is my understanding in terms of business and entrepreneurship. And I think that has always changed for me. Like at different instance, like I've always had different different views on what business man or business person, at the same time what entrepreneurs are. So I think there's a thin line, but yeah, somebody who is somebody who is doing business at the same time adding or giving a lot of social value to the society, I think that is one thing. But at the same time, like if I have to differentiate between a startup and a business, it's like startups are scalable, startups are innovative, startups are something which is unique. So these are the few differences that I
Got it.
see in
Got
terms of
it.
startup,
And
entrepreneur, and business.
entrepreneurship is also about solving a problem, right? In most, like, whereas if you like run a business like a grocery store, it's not exactly solving a problem until unless there's no grocery store in a certain location, right? I think it's also about innovation, as you said, as well as problem solving. Does that sum up?
Yeah. Like I think till the time you don't solve a problem, it never becomes a business, right? A
Exactly.
business person is also solving a problem. Like in that case, like suppose if there is a shop in front of me, it's solving a problem that I don't have to travel far. So I didn't mention about solving a problem because even business people do that.
Okay. And so in one of your talks you said that entrepreneurship is also about like the skill sets, right? And you said that actually entrepreneurs, like everyone should have entrepreneurial spirit in them, and everyone should be an entrepreneur. So like could you talk a bit about that, more on that?
Yeah. So see, like when I started, I really think I don't think entrepreneurship is a skill set, but entrepreneur is a lifestyle, right? When you're an entrepreneur, like it basically becomes a part of you, right? So it's not a job, it's not a career, but it's how you live your life. It's how you see things. It's how you become at the end of the day. But yeah, having uh, like everybody should be entrepreneurial. It's like I think it's like in terms of skills, I think everybody, like entrepreneur are basically people with a lot of skills. Like nobody needs to be master of one, but jack of
Very
all
well said.
trades
Master of
is
none.
like it's one skill set every entrepreneur should have. So that yeah, the master of you can be a master of one, but yeah, you still need to be jack of all trades to be an entrepreneur. And for me, I think more than anything, like I would define entrepreneur as a lifestyle, like in how you live, how you see things, how you act when
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
the
situation.
okay.
overall
Like
discipline
it's a
of, yeah,
wholesome uh, yeah, yeah, totally agreed. Like it's basically who you are, right? You can't
exactly.
change a person. You can never take entrepreneurship out of an entrepreneur. So it's something which will always happen. You fail in one, you start another. You fail in the other, again you start the third one, and it just continues till the time you hit a bullseye. So
Yeah, yeah,
I think it's a long journey, but it's worth.
exactly. So, like entrepreneurship, on the surface level, it sounds fancy and cool, but what about the back end that goes into it? What goes into building a startup? You have like built a lot of startups over the years, and what goes into building a startup?
I think a lot of thing goes into building a startup. I think I think the first and foremost thing about starting something is taking that plunge, taking that risk, taking that first step. I think a lot of us have that same mindset of, okay, I want to become an entrepreneur. I want to do something of myself. I want to solve this problem. I want to bring something out, but we never take that first step.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that is where it begins. But I think beginning is just 1 out of 100, right? 99 is still left, and
Yeah.
even after you launch your startup, you are still at 1%. Even if it's like if you complete like today, like it's already the 8th year of my, like from the time I started, right? And I still feel that I'm just 1%.
Okay.
So I think it takes a lot of things to build a business. Like today, any origins where my total energy is going on to where I'm focused right now, it's like we started 2 years back in the pandemic. We got incorporated 1 year back, and finally we could raise our friends and family around. So it took, like, it didn't take me 2 years, but it took me 8 years, right, all total, even though I started any
Sure,
origins
sure.
very late. So I think it takes a lot of time, a lot of experience, a lot of patience, a lot of persistence, and a lot of things. And after everything, you still don't make it.
Exactly.
So I think, like, it just something there is there are a lot of things after everything. Like sometimes even market feasibility of your or even uh, like even to know whether a startup works or not. Like sometimes you realize that after 3 or 4 years. So I think it's like it takes a lot of experience over a period of time. And I think it's a practice, right? Like you just need to keep doing till the time you get it right. So that is how I see how the journey of an entrepreneur goes, right? And today, like today, the skill set that I need and that I have, it's totally different from where I started, right? My perspective on startup when I was started was different, because I believed on bootstrapping. But r- right now, I like my perspective is that you need to like every startup or anything that you start, you have to see in terms of value at the same time, right? Whether your startup is actually providing value to real people. So there is a lot of things, but like you just need to keep doing till the time you get it right. So it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of things to build something, because it's uh, I always consider an entrepreneur as an artist, because every startup which I have seen across, like there's always USP in every startup. Every startup is different, which is like I'm talking about startups which are successful, right?
Yeah.
It has to be unique. You should be catering to a niche market to build something very successful. So I think it's an art. And basically entrepreneur are all artists. So it takes a lot of creativity, lot of uh, like I think it's a uh, wholesome skill set that you need. So
Exactly.
that is one reason I call it a lifestyle, and not just a profession or a career.
Yeah. You mentioned entrepreneurship as an artistry, right? So that pretty much sums it up. That's really nice way to portray an entrepreneur.
And like coming to the next question. So
Yeah.
I've seen that you travel a lot around Northeast and like in general, right? You travel a lot. So how do you think has travel helped you in your journey of entrepreneurship, if it has in any way?
I think travel is very important. I think we should always be an explorer. I think looking at new things, meeting new people is always very helpful. I think a lot of learning that I've had in my life is also because I keep exploring places, I keep traveling, I keep meeting new people, and I think that is basically you're like basically what you eat, what you drink, where you are, and that is who you become. So I think traveling is very important. And like for me personally, like from the time I started any taxi, that is 8 years back, I can still uh, relate to the reason why I started. I think it's because I saw more than 100 different tribes at once, in the same campus. I stayed there for 4 years. I saw more than 1,000 festivals. I have seen each and every tribe from every corner of Northeast, um, at the same 4 years time interval. So I think it really changed me a perspective on how I build my enterprise after that. Like everything that I've done is somewhere related to Northeast, and everything that I've built successfully, or everything that I have all the small battles that I won, I think it's to do with the diversity of Northeast and my understanding towards it. And also uh, I think it's a process, and you just need to keep learning and keep traveling.
I think what you also mean is that like traveling helps you expand the horizons of your mind, right? When you interact with new people, and you like your perspective changes a lot. And like sometimes when you have a very biased opinion, then when you see like when you see the situations which are very different from yours, then your perspective changes, right? I think that's also what you meant when you like talked about travel.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
And so you have started a lot of startups, and most of them were bootstrapped, right? So I just wanted to ask you, what's your obsession with bootstrapping startups, and like as opposed to raising funds? Is there any reason for that? Like your
I Yeah, now I have these funds for any origins. Like we have done a very good friends and family round at a very good valuation. I think now my perspective has changed on bootstrapping, but I think I bootstrap for 8 years, and the experience and the learning that I've had has helped me raise funds. I think an entrepreneur needs to know how to make profit, how to run a business, how to sustain a business. So I think bootstrap has helped me do that, and to to bring out the best out of whatever I have. I think those learning I have received from bootstrap, and right now I'm like uh, like we run a funded startup. So now the situation has changed, but yeah, I think one needs to learn how to bootstrap first, and then like go on to raising fund. But that perspective differs from maybe entrepreneur to
Yeah,
entrepreneur. But
yeah,
that is my life experience.
but
yeah.
um like what was the thought process when you like started bootstrapping? Did you like think that like it's very hard to raise funds or something like that, because you
No,
didn't
like I think, see, one reason is also because I was very attached to my startups, and I didn't want to give equity to someone. Second thing might be the my understanding on raising funds, or my understanding and my access to funds were very limited. I think it's also because the knowledge that I had, like when I started, was uh, was in terms like very less than my understanding right now. But yeah, I think it's also the network which I had when I started was basically limited to bootstrapping and my learning, and basically I did what I could with what I had, right? So
Yeah.
that was bootstrapping. But today, when I have access to funds, when I have access to network, I think my perspective now has changed a lot.
So let's say if you had, let's say, raised funds at that point of time and not bootstrap, where do you think you would have been? Like, do you think there would have been a difference in where you are right now?
I think, like because we just raise funds, like I think, like it wouldn't be very different. But I think the value that you unlock after you raise a fund is immense, right?
Okay.
Um, like when people believe in your idea, and people invest in your company, so it gives you that confidence. I think it adds a lot of value when other people are involved along with you in the journey. So I really feel that I haven't felt a lot of difference, but I think it's good to have a safe space. It's good to think differently right now. So uh, my thought process has changed a lot from like where I was a few years back.
Okay.
Sure, got it, got it. During the pandemic times, like everyone was panicking about business, and during the lockdown times as well. And you started Sikkim Farms. That how did that idea came from? Because I know there was a lot of rush for the chicken stores and all. That was a really good approach to lockdown. You started Sikkim Farms. So like, what's the story behind it?
So I think, see, like Sikkim Farm is not just me, but it's a collaboration that we did with farmers, and a lot of people were involved along with it. The idea wasn't purely
Okay.
mine. The group of farmers were trying to do something on their own, and like I just thought that I could add some value to what they are doing, and that is how it started. Like my expertise on market, my expertise on like how I could brand Sikkim Farms, my expertise on small things that I could add to whatever they were already doing. So I think like for me it has constantly been like how I could relate to the opportunity that is available at the current time, and that is what I have been doing for a very long time in my life. Like for 7 8 years I've always been looking out for something or the other. But I think over the period of time it changes. Right now I'm more focused. Right now I'm just trying to build one. I'm just trying to put all my energy into one so that I can like I can make something which uh, I think like to be very clear and put it into a single sentence. Like I have had small successes. I've won small battles, but right now I think more than success, it's more about significance. Right, I want to do
Okay.
something which is more significant. So that is where I am right now. So that is what any origins means to me today.
Sure,
Hmm.
sure, sure.
Okay. And so, like you said, you wanted to focus on one thing in right now. So, like, what are you focusing on? Are you like trying to scale any origins, or are you trying to like scale Northeast Taxi, or you also have one more venture called Sikkim Farms? So, which one are you focusing on at the time being?
So I have shut down Sikkim Farms. We are in a pause. Like we are not operational. Like we have paused the entire project. Any taxi is very automated because all like everything, a lot of process, people, people involved for a very long time are running it. So my focus is totally on any origins, and where that is what I want to build for next 5 to 10 years, and that is that is what I'm looking into right now.
So, I guess you are only involved in the major decisions that go in like any taxi, right?
Yeah. Like it's pretty much automated because we have good team, we have good partners who we work with. Like we have good people, we have good process, we have good drivers who are associated with us. We have good so that way, yeah, like it's only major decisions that comes to me. Otherwise, like I'm totally involved in any origins, and and my focus is totally there 100%.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah,
and
please go ahead.
yeah, and I was about to ask, since you're from Sikkim and you have made such an impact on Sikkim, what is the current state of entrepreneurship in Sikkim and the Northeast region as well? Are we going in the right direction? Like we see many startups coming up, so are we going in the right direction, or there's some changes to be made?
See, like I think like when you're starting up, when you're trying to do something, that is always right to me.
Okay.
I think the direction is like it depends on like what you want to do, and what you're trying to do. But ecosystem as a whole, I think this is the best time to be in entrepreneurship. Like this is the best time to have a startup. This is the best time. Northeast is just opening up. Like like Northeast is basically like a hot cake right now, right? So
Yeah.
I think it's the best to start something. Like it's probably something which we shouldn't miss. So the train is already moving. So I
Exactly.
think like there has never been a better time than this to be an entrepreneur from the region.
Yeah, sure, sure.
And so, if you look at the ecosystem in the Northeast and compare it to the ecosystem in, let's say, India in general, there's a huge gap, right, when it comes to the ecosystem. And even when it come, I mean, when you compare it to, let's say, the ecosystems abroad. So, what do you think? where do you think the gap lies uh, in like between the ecosystem in Northeast and let's say the ecosystem in India in general? Like, what are the things that set the
I think
Indian startup?
yeah, I think like in terms of Northeast, we are just coming up. Like like the seed is just sprouting, and there cannot be a better opportunity. Like even if you see in the entire country, India as a whole, right? Like India, the ecosystem is very matured. Like right from the access to funds, right from entrepreneurs. Like right now, you have serial entrepreneurs who have had success after success. Like for example, Kunal Shah Freecharge
Hmm.
has now started Cred. So
Yeah.
everybody is in the second innings, right? Like a lot of startups like in the Indian ecosystem. But if you see in like in terms of Northeast, I think this is where it begins. I think right now, like right from access to fund, we have a Northeast focused Northeast venture fund. Like we have a very good ecosystem that is coming up. We have opportunity that is just opening up right from Northeast being positioned as organic, Northeast being positioned as a hub for natural product. Northeast being very diverse, Northeast became being very culturally rich, with all the potential in terms of tourists, all the potential that we see in terms of products that can basically come from. I think Northeast can soon be export hub of lot of products, and I think it is just going to grow exponentially. And I'm really positive in terms of the ecosystem of Northeast that is being built right now, because a lot of great entrepreneurs have come and have started great ventures. So I think all eyes are on Northeast. Like I don't know about in the global scale, but in terms of entire country, people want to be part of this ecosystem. People want to get involved. People want to basically in cash from whatever Northeast is going to become like in days to come.
But why do you think that Northeast has become like late in terms of catching up to the startup thing in comparison with the Indian startup system?
See, suppose you start something in Delhi or you start something in Bombay, there will be 100 startups doing the same thing, right? Whereas Northeast, like it's very much in a very initial stage. Like anything that you do can get traction very quickly. uh, Another thing is because the problems that are in Northeast are very different in context to the problem that are in rest of the country. Also, I think the penetration of Northeast in terms of many like in terms of digital penetration that has happened in Northeast, it's still less than compared to rest of the country. So I think the opportunity is huge, and it is opening up with the internet penetration, with logistics reaching to each and every places of not, it's just opening up. And I think that is the reason why like I'm telling again and again that this is the best time to have a
Yeah.
startup in Northeast. Uh, and and uh, and tomorrow, like how the startups across the country are I think that is what is going to happen in Northeast too. There'll be a lot of startup solving a lot of problem, and I think a lot of startups in days to come will be funded uh, across the region.
Mm. And you said that the problems that are here in Northeast are very different from that in India, right? In the rest of the parts of India. So could you give an example of that?
Yeah, see, today if you want to print something in Gantok or print something, basically you don't get like you can't print a T-shirt which is of a premium quality in Gantok today, right? So suppose if you're in Siliguri, you can do it. If you Like if you're in Bangalore, it's you'll get the best of qualities, right? So that is one small difference, right? The other thing is, uh, like even if you see in terms of if you want to work on a product prototype, I think like it's much easier, basically to be doing that from cities, right?
Yeah.
I think these are the opportunities, like all the small opportunities that we have today in Northeast, where a lot of things haven't opened up. Like a lot of like for example, like a small town of ours, right? Like we don't have bigger companies, bigger startups, like in this region,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Even startups like Zomato and Swiggy, they are not present as we speak. So I think these factors add up to a lot of opportunity that we can have, and the problem that Ola solves in Delhi or Bombay, the problem of taxis in Northeast will be different, right? It's not the same. Like you can't solve it
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the same kind of solution. So I see a lot of difference in terms of problem that we have in cities and then we have in Northeast. And I think the intervention that we need to make will be very different, and and I think that is a big opportunity that we have. Also if you see, uh, like there are a lot of superfoods that we have in Northeast, right? And that you won't readily find somewhere in Delhi or Bombay,
Mm.
right? For example, also like the purest of honey that from Sikkim is sold in an alcohol bottle,
Yeah.
and imagine the opportunity of that. Like suppose if you sell the same honey in alcohol bottle in Delhi and Bombay, it won't sell.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
so I think all these small things will light up a lot of head in terms of what kind of opportunity we are sitting in right now. Because as we move towards more consciousness, I think as we move towards more natural, as we move towards more organic kind of lifestyle, I think there'll be a huge demand for the Northeast region to be an export hub to the entire country, and to the premium markets of the world.
Yeah, that's what any Origins is doing right now, right? It's like connecting the products of Northeast to the rest of India. Like you are planning on doing that, right?
We are doing it. So with that confidence and with that thought process, that is how like we have raised our first round of funding, right? And we are in a process like where we want to change the entire region from a consumer region to a producer region. You'll be very surprised that Northeast buys more than 20% of and valued at around $6 billion, right? We want to
Actually,
turn that around. We want Northeast not to be a consumer region, but we want Northeast to somehow we can be a producer region. So that is the mission we are on right now.
Sure, sure.
could you actually repeat that again because I didn't hear that? Hello?
Yeah, Northeast is a consumer region as of now, but what we want to do is our mission is basically to change that into a producer region, right?
Mm.
Northeast is a $6 billion e-commerce market. Northeast has that big consumption. So how can we change that uh, into becoming the export hub of the country, like in terms of organic and natural produce? So that is where we are looking towards.
Great,
Oh.
great.
So, you also were featured in the Forbes magazine under Asia 30 to 30, right? And you went to Boston for that. So, like, what was the experience like going to Boston for 3 days, I guess, right? And meeting, like, very interesting and smart folks from Harvard and MIT.
I think it's like it's to do with exposure.
Mm.
I think it's to do with meeting like-minded people. I think it's to do with seeing a lot of people with diverse people who are thinking at the same line. A lot of people who are also who, who also inspire me to do something more. So I think that is where I met a lot of good people, a lot of a lot of people who I'm still in touch with. I think it's a platform where which connects a lot of young leaders together. So uh, so so that was a great experience. I think it's uh, it's to do with uh, like for example, like I would have never met a lot of people like if I wasn't there in that platform.
Yeah.
I met Rahul Chaudhary, who is who is the director of CG Global Corp, the same enterprise which
Owns Y.
Why?
which owns YY,
Why? Yes.
the and the Nepali family, and to interact with him and to basically uh, we still keep in touch, right? Like we text on WhatsApp, and I think this kind of network, this kind of people surrounding you makes a lot of difference. So that is what it has been to be part of the community.
Yes, I think you mentioned that in lots of your talks, right? Where you said that actually Forbes is not a not a list that people see from the surface, but it's actually a very warm community. So I think that's what you meant by that comment, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So you also mentioned the kind of potential that Northeast has in terms of the diversity that it has, also the kind of products and organic farming that Northeast does, right? So do you think that Northeast can only leverage and have an edge over the other players, like let's say the other startups in India, if it only caters and uh let's say works into the tourism or handcraft kind of industries, or what do you think about like northeastern startups in terms of, let's say, fintech or any other SaaS startup?
See, other than tourism, I think Northeast has a huge potential in terms of tourism and what the entire region has to offer because of the cultural diversity, because of the biodiversity, because of a lot of factors. Northeast people are very hospitable, warm, but apart from that, I think uh, like you mentioned, Northeast being positioned as organic, natural, like a lot of product are very pure, and that branding is something Northeast has kept for a very long time. But apart from that, I think some other things that Northeast could be leading in is also I see Northeast has a big potential in terms of being the design hub for the entire country, because what I feel is northeastern people, I think we have a sense of uh, sense of design, like in terms of how uh, like you can easily differentiate out, like you can easily find out a difference when you see a northeast person very well dressed, very much we understand colors, we understand design. So I think that is something which I see Northeast could be Northeast could hold a very big potential over a period of time if it's explored in a right manner. So I think Northeast is way beyond tourism and just products.
Got
Can you
so
can you name one startup from Northeast that you're betting on, like, or Sikkim for that matter? You know it has potential and
I think it will be my startup.
of course.
Yeah, obviously it will be any origins. Everyone
confident.
should bet on right
That's
now.
the confidence one entrepreneur needs.
No, I think it's also like even if like even if like even if I'm given an opportunity to invest, I think it would be any origins because I believe that the kind of value any origins will unlock in days to come, it won't just benefit a limited number of people, but the social impact that any origins can bring when Northeast becomes a producer region, I think that is huge, and that is what I'm betting on right now.
So
Okay.
any
So,
investor who listens this must note that stuff.
yes. And so, what do you think any origins has as its, let's say, USP? Like, for example, if uh, tomorrow and another entrepreneur starts to do something similar to Northeast origins, so what do you think will your edge be over the other startups that are trying to do similar?
See, like I think the problem that we are solving is very clear, right? Like we understand that Northeast has a huge potential in terms of product, and and we have constantly been working on solving the problem how we can be a market linkage between this uh, between the premium, natural, pure, organic product, indigenous product to the global market. I think that niche is something that we are working on right now, and that has been a clear vision for us. But I think in terms of USP, it's the like I would say it's the understanding that we have of the problem is uh, it's very different than how rest of the country or maybe different startups in Northeast right now trying to work on the same problem. Like we feel that we have a better understanding in terms of problem, but yeah. So that is I think that becomes a huge differentiator for us. Other than that, I think it's also like there were many startups before us trying to solve the same problem, right? And there will be many startups like in future will be who will be working on the same problem, right? But the solution that we bring, uh, uh, premium, uh, handpicked, uh, uh, properly well certified. So that is something like like where we bang on the brand of in Northeast, the brand of products that are originated from Northeast. So that is the niche that we are working on right now. So our differentiator is the understanding that we have had for a very long time, for the region. So I think there will be a very few people, a very few company, a very few enterprise who have the similar kind of understanding towards Northeast. Like I don't see Northeast as a region or Northeast as 8 states, but I see Northeast is uh, it's basically hundreds of different tribes living in harmony in a
Mm.
uh, like in a small region, right? So
Yeah.
that is what I see, and the opportunity that these tribes bring towards these tribes when they come together. I think that is what I see, and I think that is a very different way of seeing the Northeast. So I think there are a lot of USPs that we have, and I think I think I've summed up a few things for you.
Yeah.
I think other than that, what any origins is also trying to do is also become like a community, right? For, let's say, connecting the people from different states of northeast to one another, right? I read that in one of the blogs, I think. And I think yeah, what any origins is trying to become is like very community centric, like how Apple is community centric, right? And I think other than that, your um, network as well as the experience and the business acumen you have is also a leverage, right? Leverage point.
I think it's, yeah, like you mentioned, our expertise on logistics, like which we did for the last 8 years with Any Taxi, has added a lot of advantage to us
Mhm.
while we started Any Origins.
Okay, sure.
Sure. Moving on from that, what are your thoughts on entrepreneurship degrees and diplomas, all the courses I would say adding to it? What are your thoughts on those? Should a person do that or just start a startup?
Like it depends, right? Like it totally depends. Like you can always have an entrepreneurial mindset, right? And I think a lot can happen when you're focused. And I think there might be some degrees and courses which can bring that focus, but building a startup or thinking in terms of starting your own, I think that needs a whole different skill set, right? And that cannot be taught. So like you can, like for example, I always love giving this example, and I think I've given this 1,000 times this year. So
Sure.
it's like a egg. uh, our egg can only provide an environment which can hatch, right? But the
Okay.
chick from inside the egg should basically push and basically crack the egg, and that is how a new life is born. So I think in the similar lines, entrepreneurship, the spirit has to come from within, and it cannot be the only thing. All these degrees, everything that surrounds you can just give you that ecosystem, give you that environment, give you uh, that uh, feeling of being something, but you can never be an entrepreneur till the time it doesn't come from within you. So that is my two piece on.
Yeah, when you start a business, you learn a lot from the business itself, right? So like it would not
From
be
the
a necessity to do courses and degrees on entrepreneurship. But but if it's better if you do one just for backup and all.
I think it
I
helps
think
you in.
I think see like like when yeah, yeah. I think you need to do a lot of research to be an entrepreneur, and I think maybe this degree, I don't know how is it designed and stuff, but I think it might help you maybe shorten, or maybe it can ease you in the process, but it cannot cure you, right? It can
Yeah, yeah.
just maybe ease the process
Out.
of
Yeah.
becoming an entrepreneur, but it won't like it won't completely cure you.
Sure, sure.
I think what you also mean is like you don't need to be ready to start, but like you need to start in order to be ready, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what are your thoughts on lean startup? Because like there are times when, let's say, a person wants to start up but he has like obligations towards his family when he's the only one earning, right? Like the breadwinner. So what do you think, should he be doing a lean startup, or should he like consider doing a job and after that maybe earning and saving and after that starting up? What do you think about that?
Uh, yeah, I think it depends on person to person, right? I can just give you my experience. I can just tell you what I feel. I can just tell you what I've gone through.
Sure.
I think like to be an entrepreneur, you need to have a courage to basically pursue your dream. Until the time you don't have that courage, how can you convince people to work for you, right? And if you're thinking of working by yourself, like how can you build something? So I think taking that plunge is very much necessary if you want to start something on your own. There can never be lean startup. You always have to be all in, right? So that is what I think, like in terms of uh, of becoming all in terms of when you start something on your own.
Hmm.
Yeah,
But
true.
like, doesn't lean startup, like starting a lean startup, help you in like trying to validate the market first, and then you can maybe take a leap of faith and then going
It
full on?
depends on person to person. Like it totally depends on what the person is, who the person is. But for me, it's if you can't take a plunge, I think uh, I think you should question yourself, because if you don't believe in your dream, if you can't take that risk, how will you convince other people in believing in your dream, and how will you convince
The
your
investor especially.
investors, for your people who work for you, right? So
Mm.
I think you will always have to be all in when you start something, or something by yourself.
Okay, sure. So and you started uh, any taxi when you were in college, right? So how
Yeah.
did you manage your studies along with your venture?
See, like from the day I went to my college, from the time I started, I always knew I would be an entrepreneur, right? The
Okay.
college gave me that freedom to basically work on my own, right? Like I wasn't, like I knew what I wanted to do from day one. So that was very easy for me. But yeah, like it was never lean, right? I
Okay.
I I I I always tried to give 100%. I was there 100%. Even when I started any taxi, even when I had a single tourist, right? I used to stay in my hostel and manage small tours, and until the time the tour doesn't complete, like I was there, pretty much working day in and day out. So that is where it all began, and it was always 100% from my side. But starting when I was in college, I think that gave me a lot of space, a lot of time to basically uh, skill myself,
Experiment and
or,
fail,
or,
right?
or basically it helped me to have a better understanding on what entrepreneurship means to me.
Mm. Yes, 100%. Because like you don't have any obligations when you are in college, right? Especially.
Yeah, totally.
It's a really good risk taking time, I should say.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And you
So
also once said that nearest the college study is one of the most excellent environment where you can learn and thrive, you know, and there could never have been better college for you. Why do you think that?
I think that totally depends on person to person. Like I was the only entrepreneur in my college when I was
Oh,
studying, right?
yeah,
Like it wasn't like there were thousands of entrepreneurs. It was just me, but it was perfect for me. Like I got exposed to the diversity of Northeast. I got the freedom of time. I got I went to engineering college, right? Nearest is engineering college, but
yeah,
I was fortunate to be a forestry graduate at the same time, learning and traveling, knowing the rich biodiversity of Northeast. So I think everything happens for a reason. Everything, like my story and your story, will be very different, right? You can't go and study nearest, study forestry, and expect to have my story in your life, right? Your story will be different.
yeah,
Your journey will be different, right? How you take entrepreneurship will be different. How challenge comes to you will be different. How you solve the
true,
problem
true,
would be different. How the kind of journey you'll have as an entrepreneur will be different. So I think there will be a lot of differences that you'll have in your own journey. So I think one should own their own journey, and learn the maximum out of it.
sure, sure.
so but how did you manage your studies? Like, did you study during the uh, weekdays and focused on your startup, or on weekends, or did you not attend classes and went full on with the startup?
I managed. I think I somehow managed to managed to basically get a very so out of 5, my CGPA was 4 plus. So somehow I would say I managed to do to balance both the things. So I think it just happened, and I think I was fortunate to like with all the things. I think studying is also very important, and I think going to college is very important. I think a lot of thing that but I'm again coming back to journey is totally different, right? So like maybe you are in a college, maybe you are studying somewhere, maybe you want to start something, maybe you want to do something, but you should have your own story, you should have your own journey, you should be thinking how you can basically learn from the best days of your life, right? Because I think when you're in college, there are a lot of opportunities that you have, there are a lot of time that you have good like I wouldn't say I'm very old, but you still have 7 8 years more time than me. So I think there is a lot that you can achieve, a lot you can do if you start early, right? But it's never too late.
Yeah.
So I think it totally depends on who you are and what you're trying to do, and why is very important. Why do you want to do what you're trying to do? So if you can answer this question, uh, I think there's a long way you like everyone who's listening to this can go in days to come.
So you have been into the entrepreneurship journey for more than 8 years, right? As of now.
Yeah.
So what are the most important lessons that you have learned from your journey of entrepreneurship?
So I think every day, every moment, every second, I'm learning something new or the other. But I think something that I'm holding to right now is I think till the time you're not true to yourself, you'll never be successful. I think till the time uh, like you don't have principles, you don't um, till the time you don't have your core values in place, like for example, you can't fool a person and and achieve something great in life, right? So you have to be true to yourself no matter whatever the situation comes to you in your life. Like you have to do things uh, that are hard but that are right. You have to do things that are difficult, that makes sense to you. You have to do things that are impossible but uh, to you seems achievable. So I
Yeah.
think these are few things that has helped me grow and scale and build over a period of time.
And what are the skills that you have learned on the way? Like, I guess you learned a lot of skills, right? Because an entrepreneur needs to wear different, multiple hats when starting a startup and running it, right? So, what are the skills sets that you gained while from the point that you started to right now?
I think every role that I have in my company right now, every role that I have company, I've learned everything, right from finance to right from sales, marketing to technology to basically like you mentioned, like I keep wearing any hat that comes to me. Like I have always been doing this, right? So I think I am just jack of all trades, right from like like I studied in a government school. For me, communication was not this easy when I started. For me, understanding and learning different perspective was never easy. Things never made sense to me. But I think a lot of like today who I am, today what I've become, everything is just acquired over a period of time. And and like a lot of people listening to me today, uh, nothing is impossible. You can always change your status quo, and and I think entrepreneurs are people who constantly change their status quo, who constantly reinvent themselves. So I think so that is who I am. Entrepreneur to me is basically, it's a synonym, uh, like something that cannot be pulled out of me anymore. And entrepreneurship is the life I'm living. Like, it's a lifestyle to me right now.
That's some really inspiring words for the listeners. It's motivating me also a lot. And you also mentioned in many of the interviews, also in your Empower session, that how you went into depression, right? You nearly went into depression, I would say. And can you elaborate that as well?
Yes. I think the journey of entrepreneur is very uncomfortable. Like you are not like, there are situations which are very difficult. There are times which are harder than yourself, right? Like
Yeah,
we entrepreneurs, we assume that we are very strong, but sometimes there are situations which are more difficult than us. So I have been in a very similar situation, which I thought that I would never solve it. I was in a situation which I thought is bigger than me. I was in a situation which I thought which I would never overcome. So I think that really strikes at a lot of entrepreneurs who are who have failed, and for me it has been like, I have failed many times. And there was one such incident where I thought that it's a point of no return, right? I never
What
thought that
yeah,
I would
happened to you?
overcome that. I never thought that I could solve the problem. I thought that I would just, like, I felt like I was in a situation where I'm getting submerged with my own problems. And basically I underestimated myself a lot, right? I undervalued myself. So I think if an entrepreneur is going through this, uh, I think there comes a point where like for me it was like I like from getting anxious to basically having symptoms where you feel there's no point in doing a lot of things. So that is where I felt.
yeah,
And I certainly, if I'm speaking to you right now, I fought that battle, and I won. So I think it's never impossible. There will always be challenges that will seem impossible, that will seem that it's very difficult, but it's never bigger than you. Like, it's no problems
true,
is
true.
greater than you are. No problems can be every problem can be solved, every problem can be overcome. It's just a matter of time, it's just a matter of patience. It's just that I think the more difficult it gets, the more uh, the more challenge you feel. But there is always a key. Every lock has a key, like every problem has a solution. And and I think we should communicate. I think entrepreneurs should communicate with their friends, with their families, and always remember that there is nothing bigger than yourself. No
Exactly.
problem is greater than who you are. No, nothing can like, you can never value yourself with your problem, right? Problems will always be small. You will always be bigger than your problem. So that is how I overcame. And I think uh, to the people listening today, nothing is bigger than you. You have to keep believing in who you are.
So, like,
So
to be an entrepreneur, you should, with passion and hard work, also comes a strong mindset. So, you mean like that, right? Also, communicating with the people you love.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's a lot of thing. Like it's like I think there'll be so many people who will be able to relate to what I'm talking, where I come from right now. I think it's like yeah, there are many things, but communication is really helps a lot. No matter how big the problem is, you should
Yeah.
always keep the conversation open, right? And even at times when you have conversation with people, sometimes they might not be able to help you solve the problem, but sharing always helps, right? When
Yeah.
you share a problem with someone, you always keep light, and I think you should always keep that communication open, but at the same time, like I would say that don't expect don't expect somebody to come and solve your problem, right?
Yeah.
Don't think that because problem is something which is like I would say, like it will subside over a period of time. It just seems bigger, but it will pass through you, right? And it will again look small. So that is my two piece on that.
okay. So as you said, the life of an entrepreneur is very stressful and very it's filled with anxiety, right? And it's very filled with uncertainty too. So how do you navigate through that? Like, do you have any specific hobbies or anything that you do apart from, like, we came to know that you also cooked, liked cooking. So what are the hobbies that you have in order to tackle with the daily uncertainties or anxiety?
I think I think the journey that I have overcome. I think I've learned from my battles. I have won it multiple times. I think that has made me stronger in terms of capacity, like in terms of personal capacity in a lot of things. But apart from that, I think hobby also helps a person a lot. I love traveling. I love interacting with new people. I love having conversation. Like I am like uh, anyone who is at 20s. Like I love to explore new destination. I'm a peace loving person. Like I like to be closer to nature. um, I love playing chess. I'm not I used to be very like I used to play basketball in my college, but right now I'm not too much into that. But I love going for walks. I love gardening. I love uh, like I think there is a lot that I love, but also I love talking to young people.
Yeah.
I love spending time with young people. I love understanding where they are at. Uh, I think there are a lot of things that I do beyond my work. Um, so there are a lot of things that uh, helps me beyond and helps me get through a lot of things. And apart from that, I also uh, like like I also play mobile games sometimes. So I'm like any one of you, right?
Yeah.
Like like I spend a lot of time doing a lot of things.
Mm. So do you also like meditate or read books? I guess you read books, but what about meditation?
Uh, no, I don't do much of both. But yeah, I think for me, a lot of learning that I have had is through conversation with people.
Mm.
So book reading is also not my forte. Neither meditation is. But
Okay,
yeah, I love having conversation. So
okay, gotcha.
I love having conversation. So I think that is where like I get a lot of learning from.
Mm. So we also came to know about like how you started any taxi with just $4, right? You made the app. So, what was the story behind that, and how you made the app with just $4?
So so it's around $300. The like it started long time back when I was in college. So basically, like I was an explorer in terms of learning too, right? So I took a shared hosting. I think it's there used to be a shared hosting platform called Brave Host. I took a shared hosting from them. I bought a website for 300 rupees. I built a website on that. I basically redirected the domain to the shared hosting site. I took a Google business listing. That is how it started, right? And that is where everything that today we are began.
Oh,
So like I started very small. I started with whatever I had. For me that was huge then, right? For me that money, that resource, that time was huge. So today it looks small, but yeah, I think from the day I started, like the dream was always to to be big, to build something which is like which is meaningful, which is resourceful, which can change the way people travel in Northeast.
so it was a website, not an app, right? I guess we made a mistake in that.
Yeah, so it's a website, but yeah, like there are many ways. There are many instances where people call it web app, right? So
Okay.
Yeah.
so it totally, depends on how you call it.
You made an mobile app for Sysum, right? That music streaming platform. That was a
Yeah,
mobile app, right?
yeah, yeah. That was a mobile app.
So
Yeah.
did you like hire a developer for that?
Yeah, I did. So I hired someone to. Basically, yeah, I got someone who was then studying in NIT to help me, and you won't believe, like we had 4 sleepless nights to develop that and
Okay.
launch it. So that was so that was something which I will remember
Yeah.
for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
Oh.
sure. You know,
So I
you
just have one more question.
yeah.
So, what do you think about like working from Bangalore or operating from Bangalore? Have you thought of that?
Yeah, so we are expanding. So we are registered in Bombay. We are right now operating in Sikkim. We are taking up a warehouse in Bangalore. But my base will always be Sikkim. Even if my company moves out, like grows to a bigger city, but I would certainly keep my base as Sikkim.
Okay. So why the reason?
I think it's not to just do it myself. I think it's to also crave. It's to basically craft a possibility for a lot of young people that you can do something, you can achieve something right from your home, right? And this is a story which I have been writing so far, and I think I would love to continue to write in the same way, right? That migration is the biggest migration is the biggest lose, like basically you lose a lot of resource because of migration, right?
Yeah.
A lot of good people from small cities move to bigger cities, and they go and they work from there, and I think that that is a huge resource drain, right? And I think for me to solve something in Bangalore wouldn't be meaningful enough than to solve it from Sikkim, because nobody here has done it, right? There are 1,000 startups in Bangalore who have done this. So the story which we are trying to that we are writing is
Mm.
very different, right? For me, success is not important. For me, significance is more important right now. For me, building something right from Sikkim, showing thousands of you that it's possible to do something right from where you are. Like that is the challenge I've taken for myself.
Okay. No, but the question I was asking was actually like not exactly solving the problem that Bangalore has, but let's say like solving the problem that, let's say, working on any origins but from Bangalore. The reason being like because
Yeah,
Bangalore
yeah,
has
yeah.
lots
So
of smart
see,
people, right?
I think, see, like, yeah, like I actually answered the same question that you're asking again, right?
Okay.
It's not. It's for me solving it from Bangalore, right? Might be easier. I would get resource. I would get people. I would get everything. Like it would be much easier, right? But solving from Sikkim makes, like, it's more meaningful for me, right? Like there's so many people in Sikkim who have started up, right? And suppose
Yeah.
tomorrow I move to Bangalore and solve this problem, right? That means a lot of people will like the aspiration is basically to do something
Go to
right
that.
from your home and basically
Okay.
not encourage migration of resource. So that is the basic idea.
Okay. Sure.
Great, great. And you also incubated any origins under Alcesar Impact, right? And what was the
Yeah.
thought process behind incubating any origins there? We have an incubator here only, AIC. So why not AIC? Why did you choose Alcesar Impact as an incubator?
Actually, even Sewandeep
uh,
incubated from Alcesar, so that's also
Yeah,
the reason.
exact. Yeah,
yeah, I think it's because I know Anuj, like who runs Altisar Impact.
Okay.
Like I'm more comfortable. I think he can add more value, or Altisar can add more value to my enterprise. I think that is what my enterprise needs. So
Okay.
that is the sole reason why I chose them. Otherwise, AIC is also a great incubator, but the value that I seek, like it's different. Alcisar, like they have a forte in legal and finance, and I think that is where I was missing. So
yeah, yeah.
so so, so that is the sole reason.
Sure, sure, sure.
So, one more question. So, how do you find interesting or like not even interesting, but ideas to work upon? Like, do you have any actionable steps for the people listening who want to actually start up?
Uh, I think, see, like a lot of idea that I have worked on is inspired by things around me. So I used to, when I was in college, I used to, that is very way back, when I was in college, I used to check the ideas that people are working on, like in developed countries. So that is what I used to do when I was in college. But I think the ideas that I'm holding on to till date, that is any origins, any taxi, that came from actual problems that people are facing around me. So I think that is how I pick my ideas.
And what's the process of you researching the like researching, doing a market research and validating the idea?
I start, that is how I validate my idea. Most of the ideas, so I think it's like it's also how much you believe in the idea. And I think I've started a lot of things without even thinking, and learned something. So every time that I start, I always keep in mind that even if I fail, I learn, right? So that has been that has been the process so far. So for me, ideas are validated, like few ideas. Like I think there are many ways, my many different ideas are validated in different way. Like any taxi, like it's 8 years, and time itself is the validation for that, right? We have bootstrapped for last 8 years running profitably, and that is a validation. Any origins, we have secured a first round of funding. There are a lot of people who are believing in idea. There are a lot of uh, we have more than 300 small businesses who are like who are like who we work with, right? So I think that is a big validation for us. So there are many indicators how business are valued. uh, uh, like for me, like the ideas get validated. So I think it depends on business to business.
And this is, I don't think people will take this in a very good way, but I just had this question. So, who do you think should not become an entrepreneur?
I think people. Uh, I think anyone can become an entrepreneur, but
Okay.
I think everybody should become an entrepreneur. But I think entrepreneurs are someone who believe in themselves before anyone believes in them. I think if you don't believe in yourself, please don't become an entrepreneur. So I think
Sure.
it's very clear.
And suppose if a person just wants to become wealthy, should he become an entrepreneur?
Depends. I think it's not because of your like. It's not because of me that I'm an entrepreneur. It's because of the business that I've built, the startups that I have started. Like it's because of the ideas that I've scaled. It's because of entrepreneur is not. You can't call yourself an entrepreneur, right? Your work, your lifestyle, who you are should define who you are, right? Um, so I think there can be different answers to this.
Okay, sure.
Sure. This will be the last question of today. And what is your inspiration from India and from the whole world itself? How will you like to inspire the young one listener who is listening to this into going into the field in which you are going, entrepreneurship, I should say?
Yeah. So I think it's very long since since I've spoken to people. Since lockdown, like a lot of my time has gone to building any origins. I think one piece of advice to people who are listening to me anywhere in the world, like on entrepreneurship, would be um, never lose hope. Keep trying new things, right? Test your limits. Like always talk to people around you. Ideas are never owned. You can't own an idea, so always discuss the idea that you have. Always be open to challenges. Push yourself. I think when you're 20 to 30, this is the best time of your life you can live, right? You don't have to be
Yeah,
an entrepreneur, you don't have to be successful, but try to live your life to the fullest. Be who you are, do what you want.
I think
Don't let anyone define you on what you should do, right? And
yeah,
never be scared uh, of anything that can happen or that might not happen, right? Always face your demons, right? Always don't run away from your problems, face it. And there are so many things I think
yeah,
I would always love to share with young people, but apart from everything, as a friend, as a brother, I think I'm always there. You can always reach out to me,
oh,
and,
it's a
and
lot.
and and we can
sure.
always talk. So I think it's I would like to thank the lazy hustlers, and to everyone listening to I think even listening takes a lot of your time, right? So if you are listening till the end, uh, thank you so much, and do take care, and we'll meet again in a different podcast.
We'll do
Thank you.
part two of this, of course.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah,
can you
thank you
can
so much.
you can connect with Rewaj at his Instagram, his LinkedIn, a lot of different channels, Facebook and all.
Which will
And
be linked.
yeah, and even he has his own empower and his any talks in on YouTube. You can watch that as well. There's valuable lessons for you to learn. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.